keep my colony from swarming? My goodness, is that a deep subject or what?
That's a important topic for all beekeepers, regardless of whether you're new or very well
It is.
established, and that we recognize that a colony that wants to swarm is a healthy colony.
Mhm.
It's doing exactly what nature calls for it to do.
Mhm.
It's making a split.
That's right.
It's perpetuating the species. It's doing its thing.
That's right.
But as beekeepers, typically that's the last thing we want to happen. So we need a plan in place. We need to understand what the key indicators are that cause a swarm, understand how to address those issues, how to identify them if it gets away from us.
Mhm.
And that takes us to the next step of managing that.
That's right. So I'm going to put that as your last statement as the number one priority: good hive management. Get a hive inspection schedule, stick to it. If you're in there managing your colony, checking it every other week, even bi-weekly or weekly if you need to, and verifying that you have the space correct in the bee to box ratio. If there's too many bees for that one box, they're going to swarm. If she runs out, if she being the queen runs out of room, they're going to start making swarm preparation. It takes 2+ weeks for swarm preparations to occur from start to finish to swarm, start to swarm. So you've got time to make adjustments. So good hive management, stick to it and stay with it. And then watch, like you said, watch for those indicators,
Yeah,
the hive space.
hive management encompasses primarily understanding what we're seeing within a colony,
Yeah.
understanding
Yeah.
how that's impacted by the time of year.
Mhm.
Remember, we talked about swarm is also a split.
Yeah, it is.
Splits therefore become a very important aspect of hive management and swarm prevention. A healthy colony is going to swarm. Either it's going to be a natural swarm or it's
Right.
going to be a swarm that occurs that's controlled by the beekeeper. So
That's right.
manipulating our frames, managing the colony, understanding what the bees are telling us, and understanding what the time of year is. Are we in increase? Are we in decrease? Where are we? What are the bees saying to us? We do an article in one of our past magazines that says bees don't talk, or do they? Bees do talk. Bees tell a story,
They do.
and that's what our management skills will hopefully develop into.
Got to read their indicators. We do the space indicator, their population increase indicator, making those splits. And splits are really your best way to prevent a swarm. At the right time of year, making splits in spring, making splits in the fall, keeping the bees proportionate to their space, where and plus growing your apiaries, the other benefit. Why in the world would I want the population to go in the tree when I can keep that double my hives in my bee yard? Make that swarm go into the bee yard and not into the trees or your neighbor's soffit. That could be a problem.
Another important aspect of preventing hives from swarming can be directly related to the creation of splits. When we made a split, we not only reduced the population and spread it out, but we also added a new queen.
Yes.
So new queen requeening
Huge.
Is huge. We encourage the development of a queen replacement schedule as part of your management.
At least yearly.
Requeening colonies is such a fascinating and very important aspect of swarm prevention.
Well, what is it we know about new queens? Their propensity to swarm is like nil. She's geared to, she's ready. She's young, she's ready to go, ready to lay eggs. That's all that she's focused on, growing the colony. It is not her goal to divide and conquer. That comes with that second year or later queen. So if you get on a requeen every year schedule, that's a good way to get started.
We have some friends who manage their colonies by using slatted racks.
Oh,
Slatted rack
true.
is an item, if you're not familiar with, you can look it up in the catalogs. Slatted rack goes on the bottom of your initial brood box, and it expands the space that the brood nest has to hang down below.
That's right.
And during periods of growth, slatted racks can be very important. It can be a great accessory to add to your overall inventory.
Yeah, it really can. Good idea.
Something else that's really important, this could go on forever, but it's very important to, once you recognize you may see overcrowding occurring, it's very easy to move or remove honey frames. Honey impacts a brood nest dramatically. If the queen is wanting to grow out and you've got honey frames in 1, 2, and 9 and 10, and they're trying to grow into 3 and 8, and and all of a sudden your nest is shrinking, but the queen wants it to expand. Those are the indicators one of the indicators that you look for. And it's so easy just to move those frames.
And you know,
give that queen the space.
you say move frames. That's another. It was a segue to taking a frame or two and putting it in a colony that needs it. That can also buy you space, get you space. You know, that's that robbing Peter to pay Paul. We use that all the time. And having multiple colonies, there's always always going to be at least one that could use that resource. So pull a frame of bees and all and put it in that other colony that could use it. That could reduce the population down, kind of balance that space again, and get you good for the go.
The swarming occurs during the spring, during the nectar flow, as it's growing and getting stronger and stronger and stronger. Coming out of winter, in that colony we see has the need to grow. Quite often coming out of winter, our boxes are in inappropriate conditions, not a position, I should say, in that our bees moved up from the bottom box of a double D into the top box, and they're not going to move back down typically.
Not usually.
So one of the management tools for swarm prevention coming out of winter is a box reversal. And that's giving our colony 10 new frames to move into.
It is.
That's
Good
enough.
idea.
All good points.